Good morning. Today is Good Friday, and I want to thank you for joining me this morning. It's a hard day, and it's called Good Friday, even though it's a hard day, which might seem a little bit confusing. Why do we call this day good when it's the day that people killed Jesus and Jesus really suffered? So that's a really good question if you have that question. All along on this Lent journey, we've been blowing out candles, and we have one candle lit here this morning. And we've been looking at who God is and letting Jesus show us who God is. So the thing that I want you to remember as I read the story today is that God is love. God is not like love. God is love. And so there's no time ever where God can't be love or loving or the essence of love. And a lot of things have been said about this day, but I want us to just keep that in mind. So this is one of the ways that we find out how good God is. And again, you might say, how can this be good when such awful things happened on this day? And let's read this story and let's see. It's called The Sun Stopped Shining. So you're a king, are you? The Roman soldiers jeered. Then you'll need a crown and a robe. They gave Jesus a crown made out of thorns and put a purple robe on him and pretended to bow down to him. Your Majesty, they said. And then they whipped him and spat on him. They didn't understand that this was the Prince of Life, the King of heaven and earth, the Creator who had come to rescue them. The soldiers made him sign, "Our King," and nailed it to a wooden cross. They walked up a hill outside the city. Jesus carried the cross on his back. Jesus had never done anything wrong, but they were going to kill him the way criminals were killed. They nailed Jesus to the cross. "Father, forgive them," Jesus gasped. "They don't understand what they're doing." "You say you've come to rescue us," people shouted, "but you can't even rescue yourself." But they were wrong. Jesus could have rescued himself. A legion of angels would have flown to his side if he'd called. "If you were really the Son of God, you could just climb down off that cross," they said. And of course they were right. Jesus could have climbed down. Actually, he could have just said a word and made it all stop. Like when he healed that little girl. And when he quieted the storm. And when he fed 5,000 people. But Jesus stayed. You see, they didn't understand. It wasn't the nails that kept Jesus there. It was love. "Papa," Jesus cried, frantically searching the sky. "Papa, where are you? Don't leave me." Tears rolled down Jesus' face, the face of the one who would wipe every tear from every eye. Even though it was midday, a dreadful darkness covered the face of the world. The sun could not shine. The earth trembled and quaked. The great mountains shook, rocks split in two, until it seemed that the whole world would break, that creation itself would tear apart. And Jesus shouted in a loud voice, "It is finished." And it was. He had done it. Jesus had rescued the whole world. "Father," Jesus cried, "I give you my life." And with a great sigh, he let himself die. Strange clouds and shadows filled the sky, purple, orange, black, like a bruise. Jesus' friends gently carried Jesus. They laid Jesus in a new tomb carved out of the rock. How could Jesus die? What had gone wrong? What did it mean? They didn't know anything anymore, except they did know that their hearts were breaking. "That's the end of Jesus," the leader said. But just to be sure, they sent strong soldiers to guard the tomb. They hauled a huge stone in front of the door to the tomb so that no one could get in or out. Just like the people had so many questions about how could Jesus die? How could God let Jesus die? What does it mean? All of those questions are questions maybe we have too, that we don't understand, that we wrestle with. Jesus suffered, and one of the ways that God shows us how much we are loved is that Jesus identifies with our suffering. That means that he's like in solidarity with us. You know how sometimes in our life there are things where, when I was pregnant and I couldn't eat certain things, if somebody that loved me said, "I'm not going to eat that just to be in solidarity with you because you can't do that, I'll be in it with you." And this is one of the powerful ways that God shows us just how much God is willing to be in it with us by going through everything. So we can't ever say, "Oh, God doesn't understand," or "Jesus doesn't understand what pain feels like." Yeah, God does understand what pain feels like. God does understand being misunderstood and mistreated. And today is a day that isn't about God punishing Jesus. It's about Jesus being willing to suffer and give up his life. And it's in place of us so that we can experience something better. And if that doesn't make a lot of sense to you, it's hard and it's a mystery to me as well. And that's part of what I love about it. There's something beautiful about this story, but it's also something really difficult to understand. So on this Good Friday, this black, hard, yucky, Good Friday, we say with Jesus, "It is finished."